Good morning, buenos días. Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Good evening, buenas noches, whenever it is that you get to see this. My name is Miss Adri, and I'm here to teach you some stuff. And today, we're going to talk about how to ace that interview. Continuing the different videos of life after high school. Today, I'm going to teach you about job applications, pre-screening test, what to wear and what not to wear at an interview, what sort of interviews exist out there, and what to do after you've been interviewed. Hope you like it. All right. So let's get started by discussing what job applications and pre-screening tests are. If it cooperates with me, there we go. So pre-screening tests are exactly what their name suggests. They are exams that different companies give to their potential employees, basically presenting them with different day-to-day situations that an employee might encounter at that job, or certain ethical dilemmas or situations that could happen within work. Something like if you see a coworker being abused verbally by a supervisor, what would you do? What would you do if you see a coworker stealing from the company? Things like that. Many of the times, these tests are completely timed. They flow between an hour, hour and a half, and 2 hours. This is part of the examination process, where the company is seeing how fast a person will react to these different questions. Some of these questions can be answered within 30 seconds. Some of them take a little longer. And it's very important that you answer truthfully to what you would do, not what you think you should answer that sounds good. Now, a job application is a piece of paper or pieces of paper that you fill out when you are going to look for a job. Sometimes, once you are in the interview, you will get that document that you need to fill out. And yes, you will have to put most of the information that is on your resume. And yes, it is extremely annoying, but it is what it is. You need to put your name, your telephone number, your social security number many of the times, past job experiences, and the name and number of different references, sorry. Sometimes they will ask you for professional references or for personal references. That really depends on the company. And the last thing that it's going to ask you for is a brief essay. Now, this brief essay is almost the same in a lot of companies, and that is, why should you work for this company? Why should they hire you? What are you going to bring to, shall we say, the table? And how you can improve the company. Now, it's very important that you do it relaxed. You have to be careful of your syntax and spelling mistakes. And it's best to do it with either a pencil or one of those erasable pens, because it doesn't look very nice if you're doing it with liquid paper. Now, it's important that you mention why you are a good asset or why you would be a good asset, but you have to be careful that you don't come off as an arrogant person, because nobody wants somebody that's a jerk working for their company. Now, let's say that you did fill out a job application earlier and you did a pre-screening test, and suddenly you got the call and you got the interview, and one of the first things that happens is the following. What should I wear? What should I do with my hair? It sends us into all modes of panic, and this is completely normal. Even for people that have been interviewed a dozen times, we always get nervous and we always think, oh my goodness, do I have the appropriate thing to wear? Should I do something? Well, let's first talk about what you shouldn't wear for an interview. First of all, you shouldn't wear flip-flops, sandals, sneakers, dirty sneakers, or shoes. Your shoes should always look clean and ready. They don't have to be new, they just have to be clean. You shouldn't wear ridiculously high heels, nor should you use scuffed shoes. And some people might say, but what if I'm going to interview for a shoe company or a sneaker company? That's great. You should still dress with nice shoes. You should avoid low-cut blouses. You should avoid high-cut slit skirts. Skirts should be approximately to the knee. You shouldn't wear any shirts with logos. You should keep it neutral as much as possible. And also, you shouldn't wear clothes that make you look bad or that are wrinkled. And just like you shouldn't have a high-cut slit skirt, you shouldn't have short pants nor ultra-short skirts. What you can wear, gentleman's edition, is basic pieces. Neutrals are fantastic. You can work with colors, layers. You can use navy, black sweaters, and button-down shirts are always a great idea. You can use light colored jackets and pants. You can have a navy blazer, a black blazer, a brown blazer. All of that is great. And statement ties are fantastic. They shouldn't be over the top, but they can provide exactly what their name says, a statement. Now, that little QR at the bottom actually takes you to a website that will give even more examples. So I'm going to count till 5 for you to scan it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, ladies edition. Let me put myself in the little corner at the bottom. Same thing. Some of the same things that the men use for an interview, we can use as well. We can use a navy blue blazer combination. That's great. A button-down shirt that fits to our bodies. A blouse with a bow and a pencil skirt. Same thing. As long as it makes a statement and it looks appropriate and elegant, you're doing great. A black dress with tights. This is a great idea for anybody to have in their wardrobe, be it men or women. You should always have some black formal attire, not formal, but business attire, because it will save you in a pinch when perhaps you have an interview and you don't have enough time to go and buy something new. Ladies can also use a statement dress. Printed cardigans are great as well. And just like the previous slide, there's a QR code that will take you to a place that has more information. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. If not, I'm going to put the different resources at the bottom of the video. Okay, so we have the call. You know what outfit you're going to have. So what sort of interview will you have? Well, first of all, in any interview process, it is very important that you, number one, be yourself. Now, don't be your crazy, fun, random self you are with your friends. Be yourself, but be your professional self. The company is interested in you and what makes you special. Just make sure that, you keep it formal and professional. Number 2, always answer truthfully. Don't say something just because you want to impress them. Say something truthfully because that is who you are. Never lie. Trust me. A lie in a job interview will get you in trouble eventually. Like I said, keep your language professional. Don't swear. And don't ever talk badly about a previous employer. That's a huge no-no. If they ask you something, you can say, I didn't have a good experience. I learned a lot, but I did not have a good experience. They did not give me enough place to grow. Things like that. You're saying the negative parts of that job, but you're keeping it positive. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask questions. Be respectful with your questions. If you are unsure of something to ask, you can always ask the person that is interviewing you what attracted them to the company. Or, can you tell me about a normal day-to-day here in the company? Something like that is great. Now, the most typical type of interview that we have is the face-to-face interview. And this one is not as common right now due to the situation with the pandemic. There we go. I'm going to put myself in the middle. But eventually it will come back. Now, what do you need to do? This applies to other types of interviews as well, but mostly face-to-face. Make sure that you prepare your outfit the night before your interview. Let me move myself over here. Make sure that you have a rough copy or two of your resume in a folder. You can have a manila folder, you can have a plastic folder. It really doesn't matter. It's just a folder for you to keep your resume nice and safe. Make sure that you begin preparing yourself with a lot of time to get to the interview. You have to make sure that you know where you're going to be interviewing. And make sure that you can leave your house with enough time to arrive at the place 5 to 10 minutes early. And when you arrive, you say, "Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is so-and-so. I'm here for an interview with so-and-so," if you know the name of the person that is going to interview you. If not, you can just state your name and say, "I was called to have an interview today at such and such time," and don't forget to smile. Now, what should you expect when you are being interviewed face-to-face? Sometimes you won't be interviewed at the time that you were scheduled. This happens all the time. That's why it's important for us to get there early. Many times what they'll do is that they'll give you a job application. Fantastic. You fill it out, you do your little essay, etc. And this gives you time to organize your documents in order to make sure that you have everything ready to go. Like I said, they might give you the job application so you can complete it. They might give you a pre-screening test right then and there, maybe not. And then a person will greet you saying that he or she is so-and-so and they are going to be interviewing you. Always make sure that when they arrive, you shake their hand if the situation with the pandemic becomes a little bit easier. If not, make sure that you acknowledge them and say, "Thank you for taking the time to interview me today." Now, the next type of interview that is becoming extremely popular are Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, etc. interviews, and they work very similar to this one that is face-to-face, except that you only have to dress professionally from the waist up because that's the only thing that they are going to be seeing. Now, many companies are recruiting internationally, not just locally. With the situation of COVID-19, you might be faced that you need to have an interview like this. I'm talking to you right now through the computer or an electronic device. And like I said, you need to dress professionally, and very important, you need to be available within the time the interviewer will be calling you. Now, when you are inside of the digital interview, same thing as if it were face-to-face. When the interviewer allows you inside of the room, make sure that you smile and you answer good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for allowing me the time to be interviewed. And same thing, be yourself, answer truthfully, keep your language professional, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Now, very important details. Like I said, dress professionally from the waist up. When you enter the interview, make sure that your camera is turned on. Make sure that you show your entire face and upper body. Make sure that you have pretty good lighting, and your background should be neutral or undistracting. It could be in front of a bookcase. It could be in front of a blank wall. Right now, I give my classes in front of a bookcase, and you can have little decorations like I have in the background, but it should be something more of a detail than a distractor. Now, the last type of interview is the phone interview, and this one is not as common nowadays, but it still happens. Now, it's very similar to the face-to-face and digital interview. You must be available within the time that you will be called. Make sure that your cell phone is full of charge. When you're being called, you can answer just like the other ones. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And same rules apply. Be yourself. Answer truthfully. Keep your language professional and don't be afraid to ask questions. But the best thing of this type of interview is that you can do it in your PJs. Now, after let's say that you had any type of these interviews, the interviewer will say, well, so and so, thank you so much for coming today, or thank you for, connecting or calling, etc. We will be contacting you with our decision. What happens now? Well, number one, let me put myself in the center so I don't distract from the information. Number one, thank the interviewer for his or her time. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview me. It was a pleasure. If it's person to person and we can shake hands, make sure that you end the interview by saying goodbye and giving another friendly handshake and a smile. Of course, with masks, it is difficult to see that a person is smiling, but we can smile and our eyes will tell the person that we are happy. Next thing that you need to do is reflect on what you did right and what you could have done better in an interview. And number 4, hope that you get the job. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope that you liked it. My name is Miss Adri, and I hope that I taught you something today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on all of my social media platforms. You'll see them somewhere after my face. Bye.